right, nerds. This is going to be a different type of lecture, okay? I'm a weird dude. I say a lot of weird things. One of the things I believe more than anything else is that being a physician is not about what you know, it's about how you think. And this whole video is just an example of like the way I think. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the coins that we use almost every day, but you probably never look at. And this is how it started. Like, I was looking at coins and I was like, what does all this jazz mean? I mean, like, we use this stuff every day. Like, what's the significance of this? And it's the same thing with medicine. Like, there's lots of things we do and say and do every day. And when you, like, look into it, you're like, well, where did that come from? Why does that happen? Why do we do that? And it's kind of disappointing. So first off, here is the penny, okay? Number one, all money, all coins that we have three things in them, okay? Number one, in God we trust. Oops. Number one, in God we trust. Number two, liberty. Number three, e pluribus unum, which is Latin for from many comes one, which is the idea of democracy, okay? They also say United States of America, obviously, okay? So who's on the penny is Abraham Lincoln. Okay, first off, Abraham Lincoln was the most photographed person of the 19th century. Which way is he facing? He's facing to our right. Okay, now why is he facing that way? So this image of Abraham Lincoln was based off a bust some French dude did, which had him facing to the right. Because in Western society, we read from left to right, right? Like everything progresses from left to right. Like even the mouse and like the monitor thing on the bottom of the screen is going from left to right. So when you're pictured like this, when you're facing like the audience is right, especially if you see, pictures of people, famous people, fancy bank guys and stuff like in the auditorium, that means they're progressive, they're looking forward, like they're looking into the future. That's why he's the only one that's facing this way on the coins. On the back is the Lincoln Memorial. Okay, there are 32 pillars in the Lincoln Memorial that represent the 32 states that he held together during the Civil War. Also, it's not on this coin, but all coins have where they're minted at in America. It's either Philadelphia, San Francisco, or Denver. Now, interesting things about Lincoln. Lincoln was shot by John Wilkes Booth in the Ford Theater with a Derringer pistol, which is down here in the right. This is Johnny Wilkes Booth. Okay, look at his dope mustache. Okay, pretty cool. This is the Derringer that he used. That's in the Smithsonian. I believe it's a .50 caliber. The play that Lincoln was at was called My American Cousin. So Lincoln shot him. He jumped off of the theater and he broke his fibula. Okay. After that, he fled, and he was treated by a doctor named Dr. Samuel Mudd. This is him. Again, like, I was born 100 years too late. Like, look at this sick facial hair they had back then. That's pretty dope. And that's where, like, the phrase, your name is Mudd, came from, because afterwards, nobody liked him. This is Mary Surratt. She ordered the boarding house where John Wilkes Booth stayed. Boarding house is kind of like a bed and breakfast. She was arrested as a conspirator, and she was the first person put to death by the American government, and she was hanged. There's a good movie called The Conspirator, which I recommend you watching. It's a great movie. Highlights one of the things that is recurrent in our human society is that the first casualty of war is always truth. Or whenever something bad happens, we just want someone to blame it on. Like, we don't care about the rule of law, like the facts and that stuff. We just want someone to blame it on. Kind of sad, but it happens all the time in human history. Why does it do that? So this is the right-facing thing. So, and that's why on the crucifix, Jesus is often depicted facing the audience's left, right? Now, the reason for that is, because Jesus was a Hebrew, and Hebrews read from right to left, okay? And so, like, it's supposed to be he's looking forward into the future, like he's looking into his Father's house. Like the whole symbolism of the crucifix represents what Christianity is, right? Like Christianity, John 3:16, and I'm paraphrasing, God so loved the world that he sent his only son to sacrifice. And look at this, like look how, he's, no offense, he's supposed to look despicable. Like he's thin, like he's got blood from him, like he's naked, like he's embarrassed, he has a crown of thorns. Like INRI says, here lies like the King of Jews. But that's the thing, that's the secret. Like he knows he's headed towards heaven, like he's looking into the future. Whoever believes in me shall have life everlasting. That's the whole point of this. All right, now we go to the nickel. Okay, once again, we see In God We Trust. We see liberty. We see a P because it was minted in Philadelphia. We see E Pluribus Unum, and we see United States of America. Thomas Jefferson is on the front. Okay, this is an old one. Like he's supposed to be looking. This is the newer one. He's supposed to be looking like the other way. On the back of the nickel is Monticello, which was Thomas Jefferson's house at his slave plantation, which once again was designed by some French dude, and it's the inspiration for why our Capitol building looks the way it is. And it's kind of jacked up that, you know, Thomas Jefferson's on this coin and he owned a lot of slaves. And there's some stuff out there about like how he has like so many ancestors because he fathered a bunch of illegitimate kids with slaves. That's Merca for you. All right, now we got the dime. Okay, now see, this is the classic. See, here's FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Okay, and again, he's facing the left because he's looking back on his accomplishments. He's looking back at all the good stuff that he did. Think about FDR. Like, you know, he was elected for 3 terms, you know, which is crazy. And think about all the stuff that he had to be president through. Like, he was president through the Great Depression, the attack on Pearl Harbor, World War II, Hitler. Like, that's crazy, man. Right? Like, here's the P because this was minted in Philadelphia. Once again, United States of America, E Pluribus Unum. Now, these 3 symbols on the back of the dime is an oak leaf, okay, a torch, and an olive branch. Now, what does the olive branch represent? We all know the olive classically represents peace, and why is that? So most of the stuff we have in Western culture comes from the Greeks, and back in Greek days, the economy was based off of olives. Like olive oil, like olives, that was the main thing that drove their economy. Olives are difficult to grow. They take a lot of time, effort, and water. So in times of war, you couldn't really grow olives. So extending someone an olive branch is like saying, like, hey, yo, let's not fight anymore. Let's turn our swords into plowshares and look for peace. Okay. The oak leaf classically represents strength. There's the little acorn right there. This torch represents liberty. And if you notice it, it's oddly shaped, right? Like what it is, it's a bundle of sticks that are held together by this binding right here. The reason it's like this is is modeled off what's a Roman fasces or an executioner's axe. Like it was a bundle of sticks tied together with an axe head at the top. So this is supposed to represent, you know, the idea in America that, you know, liberty holds swell over life and death, not the whims of like one individual person. Also, if you notice, these coins have ridges on them, okay? Not all of our coins have ridges on them. Coin ridges were established to prevent coin shaving. Like back in the old days when coins were actually made of precious metal, people would shave just a tiny bit out, like off the outside of the coin, and every coin they came across, they'd shave a tiny little bit. So over time, they would have like their own pile of precious metal at home. So these ridges are to prevent that. Ridges were designed in the late 1600s. Okay, so that's good to know. Forgot where I was one time, but some guy was like, look at this coin. It was from a pirate from 1520, and there was ridges on it. And I was like, you fool. Man, I didn't say that. I said, you fool my brain. What I actually said was, and then I walked away. So don't get fooled on ancient coins. Here's the quota. Okay. Once again, we see, come on, pen. United States, in God we trust, liberty. This was minted in Denver. United States of America, 1 quota. Okay. On the front is George Washington. Okay. George Washington never signed the Declaration of Independence. He was our first president. Everyone knows he had like wooden teeth. Pretty tall dude, like 6'2", which is a giant back then. And interesting, like his name was George Washington. And the king who lost the colonies was King George III, so there's a connection there with Georges. Now, on the back of the quarter is the eagle, okay, which is our national bird. There was a debate, well, when they first started it, as far as what our national bird is, and some people thought it should be the turkey, because it's like smart and has wicked good vision and stuff like that. This picture's kind of crappy, but in his talons he's holding 2 things. In one talon he's holding an olive branch, and the other talon he's holding a bundle of arrows, and that comes from the Roman phrase sivi paces parabellum, which means if you want peace, prepare for war. Parabellum means prepare for war. That's why, a parabola is called a parabola. I mean, because if you think about it, all war is you're throwing stuff at someone, and all thrown object has a parabolic trajectory. That's also why 9mm rounds are called 9mm parabellum. And that's all I got for the money. I didn't put dollar bills in here, but on the dollar bills, there's a bunch of symbols. There's the decapped eye stone that is a Freemason symbology that's supposed to represent God or the grand architect of the universe. There's a hidden spider and a hidden owl as well as on the dollar. But that's all I got for these coin lectures. The shortest story is, it's not necessarily about what you know, it's how you think, right? This all came about because I was like, well, why is this stuff on the coin? And then I just looked it up. So, it's the same thing with medicine, right? Think about, why are we doing things? Why do we do this? What's this mean? You look it up and helps you get smarter. That's all I got. R.I.P. Penny. I hope you enjoyed it. Patrick is out of here.